Virgin Galactic stock, ticker symbol SPCE, just went up over 15% yesterday alone. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. And today we're speaking about one of the most exciting companies out there in my opinion, Virgin Galactic. After a somewhat prolonged period of trading relatively sideways, yesterday we saw this lovely little boom up 15%. What caused this big move? Because if you go and try and find out, there's not really much information out there. Could there be some sort of a short squeeze happening? Is it because implied volatility is surging for Virgin Galactic stock options? Or is it just pure momentum and FOMO? It's hard to know for sure, but I for one welcome the move, because I am an investor. I own 25 shares and I'm now up nearly 25%. To me though, Virgin Galactic is a long-term investment. I'm not just in it for a quick bit of change. I will be holding for a considerable period of time, hopefully. 5 things we're going to speak about in today's video. 1. The basics. The mission statement, the stock price and history, the balance sheet, all that good stuff. 2 is the first quarter investors update. 3 is some important information from their investors presentation. 4, try and figure out why the stock price may have gone up. And 5, will I buy more at this price or will I wait on the sidelines? Oh baby, I'm excited for this one. So guys, right before we get into the video, can I please ask you to smash a like? It genuinely helps me out so much. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. The momentum we're seeing is similar to the momentum that Virgin Galactic is seeing, and I want to keep it going. And lastly, drop me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on Virgin Galactic as a company, if you own a position or if you're staying away for whatever reason. Now, straight to the video. So, on this channel, we like to start with the basics. First off, we'll just look at the stock chart, and we can see that yesterday's 15% move to the upside isn't necessarily an anomaly. These moves can happen often within this company. If I just go through the last month alone, there was a 10% red day. We go here, a 15.93% green day. The following day down 5%. The preceding 2 days down 10%. You get the picture. It can be a very volatile stock. It doesn't necessarily need news to make its price move. A lot of what happens in regards to this company is based off of momentum. And if we look at the 6-month chart, we can see that in the grand scheme of things, you know, we're still down a considerable amount. Up until the crash happened, this company was doing amazingly. I mean, over 190% in 5 or 6 weeks. We then proceeded to go ahead and lose over 70% of that value. Okay, since then, yesterday included, we've gone up about 85%. But from the highs, we are also still down close to 50%. So, if you're going to invest in this company, you're going to need some strong hands, because there will be big good days and big bad days. Their mission is to be the space line for Earth, which means they focus on using space for good while delivering an unparalleled customer experience. In everyday terms, they want to send the everyday person to space, or the everyday person who has $250,000 at least to space, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. The balance sheet is absolutely fantastic, okay? Current assets 475 million, total assets 548 million, current liabilities 113 million, and total liabilities 136 million. Now we will get into the financials a little bit more towards the end of the video, but that's just the balance sheet. And again, you have to keep in mind the CEO of this company is Richard Branson, a multi-billionaire, sorry. He has a lot of money. And the 2 last things I want to show you guys, okay, is the volume, okay? So your average volume is 15.2 million. Yesterday we saw over 50 million. So in my eyes, this is a big reason why the price was pushed up so high. For whatever reason, on this particular day, a lot of people got the fear of missing out and just decided to jump in. And we can see that by these spiked little lines here. I mean, they're way bigger than your average day. And as well, analysts do expect it to go up both in the short and long term, and somewhat sideways in the medium term. Take that as you will. To me, this is a long-term investment. I would like to hold on to these guys for years and years, because I think that they could literally change the way the world works. It's disruptive technology, and that can be massive. But it will take some strong hands to do that. People who are trading options really are believing in this company, and oftentimes what we see in the world of options translates to the world of stocks. So calls are being ordered up at 5 times the normal amount on SPCE calls. So the options traders are bulls. That usually will mean that the stock price can go up. Okay, so that's just some of the basics. Now we'll get to some of the more juicy stuff. The first quarter investor update. First of all, Virgin Galactic investment highlights. Some of these are very important, like the first one. The first and only public company focused on commercial human spaceflight. A lot of the time when you speak about Virgin Galactic, a lot of people tend to bring up SpaceX. It's already been said though that SpaceX as a whole can't go public until we're flying regularly to Mars, and that is still a whiles away. As of right now, this is the play on spaceflight. I don't care if you prefer SpaceX, you cannot invest in them. So it's a sizable and growing market for high-end luxury experiences. Of course it is, it costs $250,000. A highly engaged customer base with demonstrated willingness willingness to pay, and again we'll go into the numbers of all this, an attractive business model, a strong competitive position, compelling financial profile, and an experienced and proven management team and flight operations team. January 8th, 2020, their second spaceship achieved weight on wheels milestone. The third spaceship achieved 50% completion of structure and systems fabrication. February 13, 2020, relocated their first spaceship, the VSS Unity, from Mojave, CA to Spaceport America NM, New Mexico. And an update on FAA approval process, right? This is kind of, you know, the deal or no deal. They need FFA approval or else they're never going to take off, both in a literal sense and in a stock market sense. The path to final approval is a verification and validation program that contains 29 elements. Altogether, they've now cleared 24 of 29 of these. Ooh, baby. They are getting close to that FAA approval. And trust me, if they get that, it is going to be so good for the company. Test program update. Again, another really important thing. These test flights have to go well, okay? Successfully completed a glide flight of VSS Unity from the Spaceport America. They remain focused on completing the test flight program as soon as possible, testing and optimizing the end-to-end customer experience and readying the vehicles for long-term high-rate service. It's so exciting. They had a glide flight on May 1st. There's a Space Act agreement with NASA now to advance high Mach technologies. Already flying a crewed vehicle at Mach 3+ at the edge of hypersonic flight. And Mach, just so that you know, is a ratio of the speed of a body or an aircraft to the speed of sound. So going at Mach 3+ means that they're flying at 3 times faster the speed of sound. The only team currently designing, building and flying supersonic commercial vehicles. Significantly vertically integrated design, engineering and manufacturing capabilities and thousands of hours of flight training. So this is cool, and again it's important for what we're going to get into a bit later. The One Small Step initiative. They launched One Small Step initiative on February 26, 2020. Prospective customers can secure their place at the front of the line for future ticket reservations when ticket sales reopen. $1,000 refundable deposit required. And as of April 29th, they received over 400 deposit payments. That represents over 100 million of potential future revenue. And as of right now, I believe it's closer to 600. Now, in regards to the financials, honestly, weirdly enough, I'm not too worried about them. First quarter this year, a net loss of 60 million. But to a man like Richard Branson, and we've seen the balance sheet, that's fine. It's absolutely fine when you're literally on the brisk of commercial spaceflight. So their revenue is up massively and their cost of revenue has come down. Their operating loss, however, is a lot higher, generally down to the selling, general and administrative expenses. But again, I'm honestly not worried about the financials in the short term. A bet on a company like this definitely is somewhat speculative, I will give you that. You know, it's not a proven business just yet. They don't have much of a product or a service, but they are on the road to creating something that, you know, could change the world. Okay, and coming off the back of this first quarter results, I want to go into some important information from their investor presentation. Honestly, there is a lot of information in this investor presentation that I have absolutely zero interest in whatsoever, but luckily for you guys, I'm the one who's looking through it all. You get to skip all the boring stuff. So the team, over 800 people representing a unique blend of space and aviation expertise. So there's Virgin Galactic, which is the world's first commercial space line, and there's the Spaceship Company, which builds spaceships and future aerospace vehicles. And there they all are, happy as Larry, standing around a nice little rocket ship. And look at where it's at. I mean, this looks like some proper space stuff, man. I mean, look at those glowy lights. So their home, as we briefly mentioned earlier, is now in Spaceport America in New Mexico, the world's first purpose-built commercial spaceport. I mean, the fact that that even exists is exciting, and it just looks like it's meant to be a space station, especially when those lights are on. So here's what it's actually going to look like, okay? Enabling a first of its kind flight path to space. You start off here in the spaceport, okay? Boom, you go up. The SS2 and the WK2 separate at about 45,000 feet. There is then this 60-second rocket burn, accelerating to 3 times the speed of sound, and then boom, you go up 50 miles, boundary to receive astronaut wings, okay? And then passengers experience microgravity, so you can be floating around the place and stuff, okay? From there, you come back down with folded tail booms, and you unpowered glide all the way back. I mean, does that not just sound like the experience of a lifetime? I, for one, want to go on one of these someday. You know, I don't know when that will be, but I do want to go on one someday. I just think that would be one of the coolest things that you could do in your lifetime, is literally go to space. So why commercial human spaceflight is strategic? There's more to it than just flying to space for the fun of it. So proven technology and, importantly, declining cost. This is a massive one when considering how expensive it is right now. A strong market demand with significant potential for incremental growth globally as concept matures and cost moderates. So basically, as more people make more money, as there is more really rich people in the world, and as they can bring the cost of these flights down, there's going to be an increased market. Applications beyond initial use, so there's more to it than just going to space, including scientific research and defense, and technical foundation for the disruption of long-haul airline travel serviced by space. And I mean, the management and flight teams are crazy, okay? George Whitesides, the CEO, 9 years at Virgin Galactic, 20 years of experience previous at NASA. Same goes when we look at other people. The likes of NASA are all over the place, even when you go over to the flight team. There is a lot of years worth of experience in this team. One important thing is that there is very limited competition. Right here we're speaking about Blue Origin, okay? But right now, you can't invest in them. They also don't have an expected commercial launch timing. And overall, it just looks worse. And you can talk about SpaceX all you want, but as of right now, there's no plans of them going public, and I don't see that happening for a very long time. And here's what it will actually look like, okay? You don't just rock up and go to space, okay? Day 1 is your welcome day, you just have a tour, all of that stuff. Day 2 is your cabin day, you go on a high gravity flight, a spaceship trainer, things along the lines, then a rehearsal, then you finally fly. So as of right now, large order book, about 600 total reservations. Strong pricing power, okay? Number of reservations by ticket price, 65 less than 200k, 444 between 200 to a quarter of a mil, and 85 over a quarter of a mil. Research has found that consumers are willing to spend 1% to 1.5% of their net worth in a single discretionary purchase, and this is important. This is how you can somewhat calculate how many people could realistically potentially want one of these flights. So 70% of the pre-orders, the price is about 1.25% of their net worth, and about 30% of pre-orders was less than 1% of their net worth. So this is being targeted at the richest of the rich. So there is a sizable number of individuals with sufficient wealth to participate in commercial human spaceflight. I know to a lot of us this is an incomprehensible amount of money, but there are a lot of people out there with this money. And this is the estimated growth of $10 million plus net worth individuals. There is a compound annual growth rate of 6%. So there is only ever going to be a bigger and bigger market for this company, especially when there's going to be more people making more money, and they're also going to hopefully bring the ticket prices down. So the room for growth is there. And then they're also looking at point-to-point travel, something I haven't seen enough people speaking about. There's a significant global revenue opportunity, about $900 billion total commercial aviation market, and a $600 billion total commercial passenger travel market, including a considerable portion focused on long haul. And so a Virgin hypersonic jet that goes at 5 times the speed of sound, okay, could get you from Los Angeles to Tokyo in 2 hours, whereas as of right now it would take about 11 hours. Just something exciting. Here is their projected revenue going forwards. If this is to come true, it'll be fantastic. If it's not, it is what it is. And the final thing, they just kind of summarize it all for us really nicely, okay? Expected initial price point per ticket, about $250,000. Deposits, 80 million. Reservations, 600. Total addressable market, 2023 estimated 2,300,000 plus individuals. 2023 estimated financials, revenue 590 million. EBITDA 274 million. Contribution margin per flight, 66%. And the capital invested today, $1 billion plus. And their implied expected value multiples, okay? 2023 E or V, 2.5x. Their 2023 EBITDA 5.5, and their expected value to capital investment 1.5x. Now, if you want to go way deeper into the financials of this company, I mean, this is long. There is a lot of information that I did not cover in here. Feel free to check out the whole thing. Just look up Virgin Galactic investor presentation. It's of course on the SEC website. Now, let's try and answer the question, why did the stock price go up? And to be honest with you guys, this is one of the companies where I think a lot of the time there doesn't need to be a reason. This is the kind of company who I fully expect we will see 10-15% moves in on a somewhat regular basis for next to no reason. So there's two somewhat interconnected reasons that I believe, yesterday we may have seen that 15% increase. Earlier on I mentioned this point that option bulls think SPCE is ready for liftoff. Today's rise has options bulls piling on the equity. So far 295,000 calls have crossed the tape, 5 times the intraday average, with volume pacing in the 99th percentile of its annual range. And this is compared to the 49,000 plus puts exchange in the same time period. So simply put, a lot of options traders, are going long, so maybe a lot of people who like buying companies are going long. And another thing is, I bet that FOMO kicked in. A lot of people have been looking at this company as of late, they've been collecting some hype, and a lot of people are up to date with them, but they just weren't decided on whether or not to invest because it's been very sideways for a considerable period of time. And so then they saw this happening, and you know what happens when the fear of missing out kicks in? It just drives the price up higher. We saw it happen with the airlines, for example. We saw it happen with Delta and American. As soon as it started to make any sort of recovery, it was just buy, because nobody wanted to miss out, and we all know what happened. Nearly all of the gains have been taken away already. So the biggest reason I think it happened, there doesn't need to be news, doesn't need to be anything like that. I think it was just people wanting to get involved. People worried that they were going to miss out. People worried that it's going to break through that $20 a share resistance point and boom up to the moon. People don't want to miss out. And we've seen this happen a lot of times, as I said earlier. It often goes up and then it comes down. It goes up and it comes down. And I would be in no way surprised whatsoever if by next week we see a 5 to 10% plus red day. I really wouldn't. On the opposite side though, I wouldn't be surprised if we just keep going up at this rate, in all honesty. I mean, pre-market today it's up another 1.5%, and the market isn't looking too good. The market as a whole is in the red pre-market, and yet again SPCE looks to be going up. Sometimes there doesn't have to be a major reason as to why a company goes up or down in value. And the last thing we'll speak about is, will I buy more at this price? And I happily would buy more at this price. Now, I don't personally plan on doing so today at least. It is Friday, the market's going to close this week. I'm not going to be buying anything today. But next week, I do plan on picking up some more in here. And you know, I'll just add a little bit to the position if it is still where it's at. If I see a considerable pullback, you know, a 15-20+% red day, I will load up. But in the long term, if you're looking at this the way I am, it is somewhat of a spec play with absolutely immense growth potential. I think this is an absolutely fine price. But as I said at the start of the video, I'm not a financial advisor, baby. Don't take that as going buy the company. Always do your own research. And boom, guys, there we have it. Why did they go up 15%? Because stonks only go up. Really though, it is a company that I absolutely love. If you do plan on investing and do understand the risks that go along with it, you know, do your due diligence, go to the website, read the investor presentations, read the Q1 earnings, last year's earnings, all that good stuff. Do your research. There's so much information out there on this company. But anyway, guys, I do genuinely hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor of dropping a like, subscribing if you're new around here, and drop me a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. All those things mean so much to me. But anyway, guys, I will see you for the next video. Peace.